Right now, breaking news on News Channel 8 Today.
Good morning. Welcome to News Channel 8 Today. I'm Gene Ramirez.
And I'm Gail Guayardo. Residents in Dade City are waking up to a mess. Look at this. A storm rips through the area, damaging roofs, and high winds destroy carports and dangled metal from power lines. You can see it everywhere. This is at Owl Street and Leo Street. 14 homes were damaged, and we have team coverage for you this morning.
Storm Team 8 meteorologist Lee Spann has a look at the forecast in just a minute. But let's go over to Adrian Pedersen in Dade City. How's it looking out there?
Good morning, Gene. Well, you know, right now, like you said, 14 homes damaged, 2 of those a total loss. Let me go ahead and walk you around this Dade City mobile home park so you can see we've got this siding just here sitting on the ground. And then if we pan over, this fence is down, and up there at this home right back here, you can see the roof is off. The lanai is damaged. The people who live there, thankfully, are doing okay this morning, not hurt. Now let's take a walk around, and you can see that tree. That is where the roof landed in front of their neighbor's home. Now, nobody hurt in this entire mobile home park, which is the good news this morning, but you can see just debris sitting all over the place. We talked to the person who called 911. Let's listen in.
She says, I'm going to go close the shade, so she goes over there and screams. And she says, there's a huge explosion over there. And I jumped up to the window and I ran over there, and that's when the tree, when Ron's house blew up, it went up here and landed up in the tree, and there was a fire from here all the way over to this line where this ladder's laying onto the power line.
Had to be so scary. Now, a lot of people in the park telling us that this happened around midnight. Now, we do know several people are with the Red Cross, and they're waiting to come back until later today once the sun comes up to see just how bad all of the damage is, because it's really tough to see out here in the dark. And I do want to turn things over to Storm Team 8 meteorologist Lee Spann. And Lee, of course, we know this was not a tornado, but really strong winds.
And the way you know that, you're seeing it out there, Adrian, is that all of the trees, all of the damage basically pushed in one direction. The trees are leaning that direction. The debris is all pushed in that direction. That shows that, yes, it was extremely strong winds. It just wasn't twisting winds. Thankfully, things have calmed down now. However, we still have light to moderate rain in Citrus, Hernando, and Pasco. It's just we don't see any lightning with it. We don't see any strong winds. This is what's left of the line that came through Dade City. Notice how quickly, in just 4 hours, it's basically out of our area. Still seeing it in Northport. And it's all associated with a stalling cold front that's really going to affect us throughout all of Easter weekend. Now, the severe threat today, pretty low. The Storm Prediction Center has mostly just some thunderstorms developing. Over on the East Coast, even into eastern Polk County, a little bit better chance at seeing some of these strong winds. But it's off and on all day. There is actually a chance at around 7:30 that we would see a break in the rain, just some light sprinkles left over. But as the day goes on, we'll see another batch of rain coming in off the Gulf of Mexico, and it'll be scattered rain that generally pushes east toward the East Coast. And again, that's where they could see some stronger storms. In weather and traffic on the 8th, though, at 4:38, I have an 8-day temperature trend for you, which will take you through the Easter weekend and into next week. But unfortunately, we already have issues on the roadways, too.
We do. We have 2 big issues, and they're both in Sarasota, folks. So here, let's go to the map. Southbound I-75 before you get to Fruitville Road. Injury, crash here, tying up some lanes, so be aware of that, but no delays. And then, of course, the fatal accident I've been talking about. This is Sawyer Road at Merriweather Place. That is north of Bee Ridge. Whenever there's a fatal, there's an investigation. You're going to see lanes closed. All right, let's take a live look at I-4. This is right as you move into downtown Tampa. Westbound looks great. Look at that, just one vehicle passing by there. And then 275, an excellent drive overall. In fact, all the way up from Beers into downtown, we're looking good. That's a look at weather and traffic. Back to Gina Gale.
All right, thank you, Leslie. It's 4:34. New this morning, a couple is facing charges for carrying 3 garbage bags full of spice. Clearwater police were making a traffic stop when they smelled the synthetic drugs. After searching the car and finding the huge stash, they arrested Tyler Chili and Kayla Broker. Investigators found 27 pounds of spice in all.
Wow. Well, Governor Rick Scott has a big decision to make today. He has until today to sign a bill to allow medical marijuana. Tampa became the latest Florida city to decriminalize possession of small amounts of marijuana. But Governor Scott must now decide whether to sign a bill that allows terminally ill patients throughout the state of Florida to try medical marijuana at the end of their lives. The legislature passed the bill with bipartisan support.
Giving people who are in the last stages of their life an opportunity to, alleviate pain, alleviate suffering, to rest comfortably. I mean, it was really important. So I think that addition to the bill was a very compassionate activity.
Well, come November, Floridians will vote on a medical marijuana amendment.
40 American banks under a cyber attack at the hands of 7 accused Iranian computer experts. The U.S. Attorney General and the FBI director claim these 7 men launched attacks against 46 major banks. One of the men is also accused of hacking into the control system of a small flood control dam just north of New York City. All 7 are facing charges.
Time now, 4:35. More developments this morning on the attacks in Brussels. 6 people are in custody this morning in connection to the terror attacks. What you're looking at here is new video from those attacks. Federal prosecutors say the arrests were made during raids where investigators discovered a stash of explosives and other materials used to create bombs. Now, one of the suspected terrorists involved in the airport bombings is still on the run, and ISIS promises to carry out even more attacks.
And now the U.S. Department of State is warning Americans about traveling to Europe. News Channel 8's Lindsay Mastis joins us now live in our Morning Alert Center. So, Lindsay, what is the U.S. government saying?
Well, the U.S. Department of State issued a travel alert. It's urging Americans to take extra precautions while traveling to Europe, especially in public places and when using mass transit. And this morning, AAA reports very few Americans are actually canceling their plans. Now, AAA wants travelers to enroll in the State Department's Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. That will help U.S. embassies and consulates get in contact with you in case of an emergency. It also recommends travel insurance. Most policies will cover costs of the trip if there's an act of terrorism at that destination within 30 days. And it also wants travelers to make extra copies of passports and itineraries. Travelers should expect delays while traveling because of extra security. And probably most importantly, it recommends following your gut instincts. If you feel a need to leave a certain area or you have an urge to contact local authorities about something you see, do it. The State Department also wants travelers to pay attention to the news when they're abroad and make sure family members have all the information that they need about how to get in touch with them in case there's an emergency. And Jean and Gail, it also wants travelers to avoid crowded places and be extra cautious during religious holidays or when attending any big event.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. And of course, you can follow our morning alerts each day on Facebook and Twitter. Just search the hashtag 8Alert. Well, Pope Francis is making his voice heard on the deadly attacks in Brussels. He believes arms manufacturers are partly responsible for the ISIS attack that killed at least 31 people. He made these comments during his pre-Easter ritual of washing the feet of 12 people to commemorate Jesus' gesture towards the apostles the night before he died. Before Francis became the pontiff, the ceremony only included Catholic men. Well, this year, he washed the feet of 12 refugees, including 3 Muslim women.
And this morning, an elderly man is recovering after fighting off a crook who tried to rob him at gunpoint. Police tell us this man and his wife were unloading groceries at their Hialeah home when 2 men with guns walked up. They put a gun to his head, hit him, and demanded money. But the man fought back, scaring the armed men away. Now, luckily, the crooks didn't get away with anything. They were arrested later after the police caught up with them. It's 4:38. Let's get a check on the weather. Some rain and storms moving through our area.
Yeah, we had those storms basically from about midnight on to 2, 3 o'clock this morning. But let me show you what's happened to that line of storms now. It is pushing south of Northport as we speak and is obviously much weaker. We still have, yes, some light to moderate rain in Citrus, Hernando, Pasco, even northern portion of Pinellas. But it's just a good soaking rain. In fact, when you look at the hour-by-hour forecast, it's just about a 30% chance during the morning. Now, that does go up to a 40% chance after about lunchtime. Temperatures will climb up to 80 degrees, so if it's not raining on you, it's going to be a steamy day. But these 40% chances are scattered, so it won't rain on you at all day. But if you do plan to go to one of the spring training games, I would definitely take along the rain gear. Sarasota, Lakeland, you have 1 o'clock games. In Clearwater, it's a 6:30 game. But again, at any point today, tomorrow, or really Sunday, Emoji Man there could get wet. In fact, could feel like you're soaking wet between the 3 days of high rain chances. But notice the 8-day temperature trend does keep us warm. We'll check in with traffic on the 8s because aside from wet roads, we have other issues.
We certainly do. We've got two major things going on right now in Sarasota. So for those of you who live in the Suncoast area, we're going to get to this in just a second. I want to look at travel times right now. State Road 54 through Newport Richey looks good. We just have some red lights to go through. 11 minutes US 19 to the Suncoast Parkway. And you're looking at 14 minutes here on US 19 through Palm Harbor. That's State Road 54 over to Tampa Road. Now let's talk about Sarasota. Southbound I-75 before Fruitville Road, we have a collision with injuries involved. It's tying up some lanes, but you can still get by. You know, traffic is moving very fast in this particular area and absolutely no delays. We've also got a fatal crash there, Sawyer Road at Merriweather. Be on the lookout for that. That's a look at weather and traffic. Back to Gina Kell.
Thanks, Leslie. Coming up, Tinder was one of the first of its kind. You see a picture, you like it, you swipe right. Well, that's the name of the dating app game.
Well, now Tinder has users swiping for something more serious. How the dating app giant is getting users involved in politics. And they're making $300 million a year off your information. What you can do to keep your private information from being held for ransom.
But first, why one crash forced the evacuation of an entire town.
News Channel 8's Stacy Scheibel is on your side.
Right now, a whole town is evacuated after a semi-truck slammed into a train. You can see the flames and the train off the tracks. Well, the semi was carrying a propane tank at the time of the crash near Callaway, Minnesota. Until at least noon today, about 200 residents are out of their homes just as a precaution. Right now, the propane is being burned off. Fortunately, none of the cars carried hazardous materials. That would have been a real disaster.
Well, Nate, on your side, warning this morning about hackers targeting our computers and holding personal files hostage.
Yeah, it's known as ransomware. 8 on your side's Lindsay Mastis shows us what to do to keep it from happening to you. This is a really serious problem, and it's happening here in the Bay Area.
It is. It's happening all over the place, especially for businesses, but anyone can be targeted. And recently, hackers successfully targeted Mac users.
They prey on people.
This is what ransomware looks like on an infected computer. It's a simple screen, but you can't get past it unless you pay up. LED Tampa fell victim to ransomware last year.
You had 12 hours to pay the ransom, or the ransom increases.
Hackers want to be paid in Bitcoin, an electronic currency. The price, $500.
$500 we felt was far less expensive than the inconvenience of losing your data.
Hackers will give you your information back for good reason.
If their reputation would be, oh, these guys don't give you your files back, they would stop making money.
Stu Showerman, founder and CEO of KnowBe4, admits ransomware is designed to get past antivirus software. It can infect computers through links and attachments and emails and from malicious ads on websites. Avoid those and you can avoid getting infected. But if you fall victim, there's only one way to keep from paying hackers.
You need weapons-grade backups, even if you are just on your own at the house.
If your files are backed up on an external drive, you can reformat your computer's hard drive. Now, LED Tampa backs up all their files at least once a week, but they still worry it could happen again.
It makes you feel somewhat violated, like, you know, somebody snuck into your house or your business and they took something that belonged to you.
LED Tampa tells 8 on your side they contacted police when this happened, but they didn't pursue the case because police would need to keep their computers for up to a few weeks. That's hard to do when you're trying to run a business. Now, there is a government website where you can report these types of crimes. We have that link on our website, WFLA.com.
You know what's scary about this is it's far more prevalent than most people believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is.
Is it big business for the hackers?
It's huge business for the hackers. Just one version of this, Shireman tells me that in the past year and a half, just one version has made hackers more than $325 million.
So in the one case we saw, there was a $500 ransom, but it could be, depending on the size of the company, you know, much bigger right now.
If they find out that you're a hospital or a financial institution, they might up it, and that's what happened to a hospital in California. They ended up paying $17,000, but originally hackers wanted $1 million.
Wow, pretty interesting. Lindsay, thank you. It's eye-opening for sure. Well, another 8 on your side alert this morning. Verizon is the latest company falling victim to hackers. The mobile carrier carrier claims it discovered and fixed a security vulnerability in a client portal. Now it's notifying its customers. Right now, it's unclear how many customers are affected. A security journalist claims a post in a guarded underground cybercrime forum advertised that a database with the contact information of 1.5 million Verizon customers was for sale earlier this week.
A nationwide scandal is hitting close to home. Now the Hillsborough County Environmental Protection Commission is taking on Volkswagen. The commission is suing the car maker for illegally skirting emissions rules. The lawsuit is over 1,100 affected VWs in Hillsborough County. EPC regulations allow for a fine of up to $5,000 a day per car in the county. The Volkswagen scandal has been going on since 2009.
Well, you swipe right to match with people on Tinder, but how about swiping for a political match? Tinder's launching a new feature called Swipe the Vote. The app asks those who are still undecided what they think about same-sex marriage, legalizing marijuana, the death penalty, many more topics as well. It will then tell users which candidates most closely match up with their views. There's also a link to register to vote included with that app. Pretty interesting, huh? Helps you if you're undecided, you don't know the issues and how politicians line up. This is one way to do it.
Yeah, and then you register to vote. So we're getting more millennials involved in the voting process. I like it. This morning, get a little bit wet to start your Good Friday. We have heavier downpours coming down right now in Citrus and Hernando counties. This down here, just south of Highlands County, just south of DeSoto, just south of Sarasota, that's the line of storms that caused the damage in Dade City overnight. But now it's just a stream of moderate light rain. In fact, when you look at the hour-by-hour forecast, just 30% chance, kind of a mild, muggy start to the day, mid-60s. We do bump that up to about a 40% chance through midday and into the afternoon, and that's when you can see another round of pop-up thunderstorms with a high of 80. Because we had that rain overnight, though, we're a little cooler. We're in the low to mid-60s at this point. So here's this stalled cold front. So all day, we'll get unsettled weather. That just means at any point we could see scattered rain that comes in off the Gulf of Mexico and generally pushes from west to east. But again, more rain could still come in off the Gulf today. Even the possibility of seeing some showers in the morning tomorrow before another round of off and on rain for Saturday. I do expect Easter Sunday for the most part to be dry before 40% chances in the afternoon. Leslie, how about traffic on the 8th?
All right, we're looking at the roadways out there on US 19, folks. If you're heading south or actually northbound, because traffic is so light right now, in Palm Harbor, State Road 54 to Tampa Road, about a 14-minute commute. Also, US 41 looks very good coming away from Land O'Lakes. State Road 52 to 54, 13 minutes. We're both at 13 minutes now. All right, let's go ahead and take a live look out here. This is I-4 leading into the junction. Looks wonderful. Here is 275 just by Bierce Avenue. Absolutely no delays there. Heading over to Sarasota southbound I-75 before Fruitville Road. Injury accident tying up some lanes, but traffic getting by fine. Fatal crash, so an investigation taking place here. Sawyer at Merriweather. That's just north of Bee Ridge in Sarasota. That's a look at weather and traffic. Back to Gina Gale.
Okay, Leslie, thank you. Just ahead, the Tampa Bay Rays are back in town. What they're saying about their historic trip to Cuba.
That had to be so much fun. But first, techies are predicting the future, what they say our future of gaming and amusement parks could look like. You're watching News Channel 8 today.
We're back. It's 4:53. Earlier this week, we showed you a new roller coaster that you ride wearing virtual reality headsets, remember? Well, now techies are telling us, get used to it. They're even calling one interactive attraction Xbox on steroids. Players battle it out on dual screens with virtual reality headsets. Experts think virtual reality is where the future of amusements and gaming are headed. I thought they were there already, right?
The Tampa Bay Rays are back in town after their historic trip to Cuba. The Rays were back in action against the Yankees at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa last night. The Rays players did spend a little time talking about the sights that they were able to see in Havana before the game. They also talked about spending 7 hours on their plane on the ground in Havana because of a mechanical problem.
It kind of capped off the trip for us. You know, we expected to get out pretty fast, but being delayed, I mean, we played a lot of cards, ate a lot of Cuban sandwiches, and drank a lot of water. So we were thankful to be back in the U.S. when we arrived.
We were wondering why they got back so late, and Evan Longoria cleared it up for us there. Evan and other players say they were impressed by the Cuban passion for the game of baseball.
At the end of the day, there's no place like home. It's always nice to travel, but it's great to be back, right?
Yes.
Weather and traffic on the 8th, it's coming up in just 3 minutes.
And when we get back, they were supposed to show up in court, but now they've gone missing without a trace. What Sarasota police know about a missing mother and her 2 daughters. You're watching News Channel 8 today. It's 4:54.
It's 4:58 and time for weather and traffic on the 8th. After some strong storms overnight, I'm just tracking some light to moderate rain right now in Citrus, Hernando, and Pasco counties. But throughout the day, the rain chance will stay at about 40%. It'll be scattered rain, meaning you'll see showers and thunderstorms at some times. Other times you won't see it, and it'll come back. 80 degrees, so when it's not raining on you, high humidity. Even a few spotty showers continue overnight with a low of 70. I'll have that Easter weekend forecast for you coming up. Leslie, how's traffic on the 8th?
All right, we're moving at good speeds. I-4 right now through Ybor City looks wonderful, folks. You're looking at a 7-minute commute from 301 to 275. Ehrlich to 275, that's on our Veterans Expressway. If you're heading southbound, you're looking at roughly 9 minutes if you're heading out the door soon. Sarasota, southbound I-75 right before you get to Fruitville Road, where we do have a collision with injuries involved, so keep that in mind. And also, again, that fatal accident involving an investigation, of course, Sawyer Road at Merriweather Place. That's just north of Bee Ridge in the heart of Sarasota.